Hello everyone, this is Ryan from the ProfitTrailer team, also known as RF Radio on the ProfitTrailer support server on Discord as well as elsewhere on the internet. In this video I'm going to actually be going over the initial launch and import of the default configurations that are available for ProfitTrailer version 2.1. Now this isn't a install and get started video, this is just going to be the initial startup after you get done installation. So I will likely have to do another install video earlier or later on, but if you are already familiar with ProfitTrailer, or if you want to go back and take a look at the ProfitTrailer 2.0 install, that is very close to how you install 2.1, so you may be able to use that for reference in the meantime until I get a new video out for it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in here. As you may note, when you first start it up, it will come up to this password, confirm password, and then it wants you to enter your default API key and then set admin password. Now I'm going to do that here, but I'm not going to be displaying it, so I will actually be cut out. I'll be cutting off the video here, and then I will be back in the next segment here. But just so you are aware, you need to enter a password of your choice. You choose what password you're going to put here. Then it wants you to enter it again, and then you set your default API key for your exchange. So whatever your default API key is, not your trading key, but your default API key, it goes in this field. And remember, it's not the secret, it is the API key itself. So I'm going to cut out now, and I will be back in just a second. So now that I've input my password and my default API key, I come to this page right here, and this shows me the public configuration loading page, as well as this import function here. So if you want to start this up like you're starting up ProfitTrailer version 2.0 and you have a saved config on a file, you could drop it into your initialization folder and load it here, giving it a unique settings name for it to identify it in your settings list. Now I do have a third menu here for saved. Now this is if it's not your initial launch. If this has been configured before and you've saved a setting, you can load it here. That's why I have this showing up right now. But right now we're concerned with the public config load and how to import it. So all you have to do is click this drop down, and you have a list of a whole bunch of different things right here. Now, if you don't know which one to pick, there's a very good set of descriptions of what each of those settings are right here on the ProfitTrailer Discord support server. Under the announcements group, there's a channel called PT Default Settings. That's where the description for all of those public configs is, because the public config right now is just the default configurations that have been sent with the minor revisions or minor revision changes for ProfitTrailer. As we've been updating them from version 2 up through version 2.1, we have had incremental patches or incremental updates, new minor versions come out, and thus a new default configuration has been created for almost every one of those. So if you want to get in on, or if you want to understand what those are, they are right here in the PT Default Settings channel, and you can scroll up or hit the little pin icon up here on the upper right, because all of them are pinned announcements, and you can just jump right to them by clicking on those individual pinned articles. And now getting back over to the bot here, what we have to do is pick an existing setting. Now I'm just going to pick the Spanish cross one here, and I'm just going to rename it, because you have to enter a new unique name for it. Okay, you can't just have it import as Spanish cross. You got to enter a new name. I just added a little qualifier in the end so I know which one this is. So then you go load your settings, and it should bring you to your config page here. Now mine did not start with the one that I just specified, because I already had another config loaded while the bot was running. I didn't have this particular strategy up, and not to mention this isn't my initial launch, so it will just load whatever config I had loaded before. So in your case, though, if this is your initial launch, you should see it come up to the config that you just renamed, and this would be what it would look like right here in your GUI config. Now, for these default configurations, if you go up here in the little gear and click the settings, change to advanced config, and you have a description for every one of these command lines, like every one of these parameters. You have a description of what each one does, and it's kind of a nice little written tutorial through the entire file. It does make it a little bit longer, but it tells you what each line is for. Or you could just modify it here from the GUI, and if you want to know what each one of these fields does, click the heading at the top, and it will tell you what that field is for and give you a brief description of it. Otherwise, your best bet for understanding this is to consult the wiki through the link down there at the bottom of the window. Now, if you want to get back to that list to pick another default config that you want to try out, all you got to do is come up here to the little gear on the right hand side, and down here the little button second from the bottom, it says setup. You just go ahead and click that, and it takes you right back to it, where you can grab another default setting and try it out if you want to. Just remember that when you select a setting, choose a unique name, click load your settings, and away you should go. In my case, I just go back in here, load my test bot one, and here we go. So you can also choose save configurations from that menu and jump right back in if you don't want to. If you find that you don't want to load another config right there, you can always just use one of your saved ones. So that is not only how you can select the default configurations, it's also an easy way, well, maybe not easy, but a simple method for changing your config. And you can also do that right here with a little drop down. Just change your config right here. So all your saved configurations are available on the config page right here. So that's about all I have for initial launch and import of the default settings. That's actually all there is to it. So if you ever want to try out another one, just go over here and click on your settings and go to your setup. That's all it needs to be done. So I guess that brings me to the end of the video. If you like what you see here, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the subscribe button. And if you want any updates of when we post new videos and content, go ahead and hit the little bell icon right next to the subscribe button. As always, stay safe, happy trading, and we'll catch you on the next video where I'm going to be going over the different functions here at the top of the config window on the hot config, save config, new config, and download config. If you need any help with your ProfitTrailer client, please consult the wiki at wiki.profittrailer.com, and if you still have more questions, don't hesitate to join us over on the Discord support server following the link on your screen.